There we go. All right, guys. Well, welcome. If you're watching this live on Facebook or the recording on YouTube, wherever you're watching this, welcome wherever you are, whenever you are watching this. So good to have you with us for session 2. Here comes the volume on Facebook. There we go. Kicks in automatically. But yeah, we had such an outstanding time last night. Michael taught us so well. Some real simple stuff, guys. What it looks like to start trading. Simple support and resistance. At the same time, what it looks like to follow a signal with some rules, to enter a live trade and get out of it as well. And he walked away with the money, I think, on 2 occasions last night. So it was real fun, real dynamic. And this evening, guys, we've got really cool things in store for you. So we're going to bring Mike on in a minute again. We're going to show you what it looks like to set up your own account to be able to demo trade inside of the same platform that he was showing you last night. That platform's called TradingView. You can set up a free account with them and click around and just get used to doing what we're showing you. And then we're also going to get into the gate system, which is an outstanding way to manage your risk and basically just step into compounding returns. And disclaimer, obviously, with that, you're not going to smack this out of your park in your first couple of weeks or your first few months, really. Like, if we're real here, this takes time. This is a skill set that we're all on this journey of learning. But when you've practiced on demo, which we're going to show you how to do, and you've got a consistent win rate, there's nothing stopping you from applying this and really starting to letting it go to work for you. So let me see. So good to see so many more names jumping in here. My goodness, I know we've got nations from all over the world jumping in. If I look at the chat and in the participants list, so good to see so many people that have been tracking with us. Like I said last night, we're in the middle of a 30-day bootcamp. For those of us that are part of our Freedom Investor team, this is technically session 12 for us. We thought we'd take 2 nights out in the middle just to open it up for everyone to come and have a look and see what we're doing. Just to invite you in, because we've had some students that have started brand new with us 3 weeks ago. They've been having some incredible results. So I just want to give you guys the opportunity to see what we're doing and really just open you up to the idea of what it looks like to cross over from the left side of money to the right. If you've never read anything of Robert Kiyosaki, he's famous for the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. But second to that, I would say Cash Flow Quadrant is an outstanding read. He talks all about how, on the left side of money, you've got employees and self-employed. They make up 90% of the workforce. You can almost cut those in half between the employees and the self-employed. Basically, the perfectionists become the self-employed. We think we can do it better. We want a bit of freedom. So we go out on our own, work for ourselves. I did that when I was a Sparky for a few years. It was great. It just came with a whole lot of paperwork and a bit of freedom, but really just more headaches. And then you've got the 5% on the other side, and they make up 5% of the population, but they equate for 95% of the wealth. And so 4% of those are big business owners, 1% of those are investors. And so what we're doing here is we're on this journey to cross from the left side of money to the right to develop the investor mindset. And from there, once we actually develop the mindset, you'll then begin to see it show up practically and physically. Something I said last night, just this concept of abundance and what it means to step into anything in life. You're very rarely ever going to step into anything that you're not already at harmony within yourself. Like, you have got to get yourself into the state to be able to receive what's in front of you. And all of that comes down to your mindset, what you believe is possible, then what you begin to speak out in front of you and the plans you begin to take and the actions that you follow. So yeah, won't go down that track tonight. I want to dive straight into the value this evening and bring Mike up to share with you guys. So guys, drop some 2s in the chat for Mike as he comes up. There's a reason for those numbers. But yeah, I believe there's a verse in Isaiah which talks about the keys of David opening things that no man can shut, and what he shuts no man can open. And that date in particular last year in February is significant because that is a day where Mike joined our team here and things started to get wild. So Mike, so good to have you with us again this evening. I know you've got some value to bring again. So once again, I want to say a huge thank you for your time, and I want to give you the floor and get myself out the way, my friend. So go for gold. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Let me share my screen. We've got a trade again tonight that's popped off about 3 minutes ago.
Oh, wrong button. It's coming. I went there, advanced. Got it. I should have did that at the beginning. All yours. Go for it.
Brilliant. Okay, so for those of us who are students, just a quick welcome to everyone. I'm going to get into who I am. Here's our sell signal. For those of you who've been following us in our boot camp, we had a sell right here. Here's our red sell signal, and price is falling like a rock. We're currently in just over $1,000 of profit. Stop is about 4 pips above the high, and the 15-minute chart is lining up, and we are dropping very fast. So I'm just going to quickly zoom out to the 15-minute chart, and then we're going to come back. We could run down to this resistance. We talked about this last night. Support. This is where price stopped at last night, and look, there we are coming down very fast to my take profit, and we're up 1,500. I'm just going to take that. Boom. Okay, close position, and Trading view is frozen. There we go. Close. And we are out. Okay, executed. Wow. Okay. So was anyone else in that trade from our students? It's still falling, but that's okay. Is anyone else from our students, did they catch that trade? No one. No one. All right. Well, it was there. You're still in, Peter. Brilliant. Well done. Still dropping. Grisella got out early, so she wasn't distracted. That's okay. That's a good way to be. When we're focused on trading, it's good to be in the zone. It's good to actually focus in on what we are doing. So, man, this is exactly what happened last night. So for those of you who weren't with us last night, we are trading the NASDAQ. This, and my Windows is just lagging here. Look at that. I think I've got too many applications open. Hang on a second. Can you still hear me, Ty?
Yeah, you're good, bro. It might just be the
Okay.
internet for all of us. You're good. Keep going.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Okay.
catch up.
So what we're doing is we are trading on tradingview.com. Now, this is a free website you can use to access the markets and look at any particular asset to trade or invest in and analyze the price. So we have actually been looking at the NASDAQ, which is one of the stock market indices in the United States. This is one of the ones we trade a lot because it gets a lot of action. And in fact, I can bring down my other brokerage. Here's my other brokerage here. So as you can see, I'm still live in this trade as well. TradingView has just sort of frozen on me for now, but that's okay. So we're trading the NASDAQ, and we already determined that this was in a downtrend. So we can see that price had a rejection from the high this morning. Remember, we talked about resistance and support last night for those who were here. Price came up, found some resistance, rejected back down, and notice how price then just trapped in this range for the rest of the day. Basically, you have all this energy being pent up, just waiting to be released, and this was the release we got just now. So while my trading view is sorting itself out, I might just close it, and I will just say hello to everyone. Let me just close this, close. And while that is reopening, I'll just introduce myself. So for those of you who don't know me, some of you do, I'm Michael. And you might say, Michael, if you're trading, why are you teaching us? Why are you taking courses? So one of my natural giftings is a teacher. I love it when people get that aha moment. But the most important thing is actually helping people realize there's a way to be financially free. So I get a lot of satisfaction out of people finding a way or opportunity to change their lives. And the two most powerful influences in our lives are actually health and finances. Health and finances, they determine a lot of things. And so when I'm just opening some stuff here we go. So when they're the two things that break up marriages. They're the two things that cause incredible difficulties and stress in our families and our personal individual lives. And so when we get our finances right, and when we're empowered to take control of our own finances and become dependent, not needing anyone else, it's an absolute game changer. It frees up our time, which means it frees up our life. Our lives become free. And so the reason I teach it is I want to shorten the learning curve for people who want this, so they don't have to go through the hell that I went through to get this. So I went through many years of failure, unbelievable failure. I lost a lot of money, and then began to turn it around through getting the right education and the right mentors. Now, is anyone else having problems with TradingView tonight, or is it just me? I'm just reopening it now. All right, Brian, you got 4%. That's amazing. Okay, so no one else is having trouble. It might be my internet. Let's just try and connect again. All right, and let's get on the NAS. Now, all of my charts are wiped out, but that's okay. We can start again. So that's why I do this. And yes, I do it for myself because I want to be free and I want the opportunity to tap unlimited markets, which is exactly what trading is. But at the same time, I want to make other fathers and mothers free so they can spend time with their kids and travel the world and do amazing stuff. And basically have access to an unlimited market, because that's what trading is. It's the access to a market where the only limit is your discipline and your patience. And if you can turn the switch on that and play with it and get that right, then you can have whatever you want from the market, because it's an open market. It's a big bucket of money where once you learn the tools, you can go in and take it out. So that's a bit of my journey. That's a bit of my why. I want you to be free. I want people to be free. I want families to be free. I don't want you to have to stress over your double mortgage payments. I want you to be able to buy whatever you like for your kids, the same way that I do for my son and my family. Okay, so last night we were looking at support and resistance. And while this trade is still going short, I'm still short as well. I've taken out one position already. I still have one in. Before we look at TradingView, we're just going to have a brief look at where support and resistance is today. So you can see that this is an area, as we looked at last night, a horizontal zone where price has always struggled at. There's always been, look over in the left-hand side, there was a big battle here for price to see who would win it. Ultimately, the buyers won it and price screamed to the upside. When price came back down again, there was a rejection at this level. So when we come down to this level, we should probably see some sort of pause, at least a pause, and then the market will make a decision and we will find out what that decision will be. And we can react accordingly. If we want to tighten up our risk, we can do that. If we want to take out all of our profit, we can do that as well. So I'm just setting up my other charts on my other screen as I'm talking to you, just as this new one is opened up, just so I can see everything that's going on around me and have a good understanding of the context of the market. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for support tonight, around about this yellow zone. Now, price doesn't have to be trapped there. Often we can have a lot of volatility at the beginning of the market, and price might find a floor and then it might scream to the upside. And that's why we always learn to take money when the market gives us to us and lock in our gains. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in how to actually place the trade here on TradingView, and you'll see how simple it is. Okay, so to place a trade, we can come down to this bottom arrow on the bottom right-hand corner and click that. And you will see we have 4 options: stock screener, Pine editor, strategy tester, and paper trading. Now, if we click on paper trading and then click on the other paper trading, we can reset a paper trading account and we can set it to whatever amount we like. So if you only have a small amount of funds that you're able to start trading with when you finally start, then you can start with $500, or you can start with $5,000 or $50,000, whatever you like. And you now have a $50,000 trading account. Now, this trading account is not hooked up to a broker. It is the paper trading account of TradingView. Okay, it's the TradingView paper account. You do not need to open an account. This is purely for the website. So when we look at our chart, what we want to do is we want to right click on the screen, go down to settings, and we want to select the trading tab on the left-hand side. Now, once we select that tab, we can choose a number of buttons here to have on our chart. Now, if you look in the top left-hand screen, you can see the sell button in red, the blue button in buy. That's because I have ticked that box. Okay, I want to see that on my screen. That is where I'm going to buy and sell. I also have instant orders placed. Now, what that means is, just a second, the screen is just refreshing once more. The moment I touch that blue or red button, there will be an instant sell or an instant buy. If you do not want that instant entry and you want a confirmation entry, then you need to untick that, and I'll show you what I mean. Now that it's unticked, let's say I want to buy right here. If I click buy, I then have to do a secondary confirmation. So I want to choose how many units I want to buy. So for example, I can click take profit and loss. Let's say that I want to choose 10 units, and then I can click buy, and that is my secondary confirmation. Okay, Once I set up these details, and you can have an automatic take profit and stop loss. So for example, if I want, let's say, a 10,000 automatic take profit, I can set that. I can have an automatic 10,000 stop loss. Okay, so this is, let's just see what happens. So I'm going to go buy. Now, we're not going to see anything on the screen because we have to tick another button. So right click again in settings, and you can do this before. Under appearance, you want to have positions and orders checked. Positions and orders checked. And we go okay. And for some weird reason, they are not showing up. Unbelievable. So normally when you click that position, it will show the orders you have. Okay, that's because it didn't open my entry. Okay, there we go. All right, so all I did was click buy, and notice between the red and blue buttons, we have 10. That is the quantity I am buying. If I click on that, I can choose to change that. I can put 20 in, I can put 100 in, and whatever the quantity is between those two buttons, that's the lot size. That is the size of your position. So this particular one means that I am trading $10 a point, which is the last decimal place on price here, $10 a point, because it's 10, okay? So as you can see, we see the floating profit. Now, as you hover over your position in blue, you'll see SL for stop loss and take profit. Now, what we can do is we can click and drag those, and because it's a buy, I'll put my stop underneath. I'm going to click on my take profit and have it higher and release. And there I have set my stop loss. If price comes down and stops me out, I incur an 8 pip loss, or 7.8 pips. If price goes up, I will make about 3 to 1. I'll make 21 pips, or 2,000 ticks. Okay, so you always want to look at the first 2 decimal points. If there is 4 digits on the NAS, we take the first 2 digits, and that is pips, 21 pips, and a stop loss of 3.7 or something. So that is how we open a position. So in order to close it, in fact, you can see that open position down here on your trading tab as well. 2 ways I can close this. I can X this from my trading view at the bottom here, or I can simply click out the blue X on the box of the actual entry itself. If I want to adjust my stop loss or take profit, I simply click and drag. Very easy. That is not doing it because it's stop loss. There, it should be yellow. So I can click and drag. I can move it up tighter. I can move it away. Okay, and the same with my take profit. Now, if I want to close this position, let's say that the market's going down, I'm going to take this loss. I just go close, and my position closes. And for some reason, my internet is lagging, and so there is a slight delay on that, which is extremely annoying. So this is not normal. Normally, it'll be instantaneous closure, depending on your internet. We've had a bit of a storm here today. That could be the reason. Notice it's still floating until it closes. That's a very, very long time. Okay, so that is a bit annoying, but there we go, close. Okay, so now if we want to see that position, we can go to account history down the left here, and we can see our last trade was a loss for $20, a loss of $50. And positions, you can see your open position. So it's very, very simple. What is going on here? There's a delay in everything, okay? So these are my old orders, my sell order, my stop loss order, and my take profit, which I'm just going to delete. I don't need those anymore. So basically, to go back, we go right click, settings. We want to make sure that buy or sell is checked, so you can buy and sell on your chart. You can choose to have instant orders placed or not. Have positions placed. You can choose to have your profit and loss in money or ticks or percentage. Okay. This is weird. I'm not sure what's going on here. It looks like there are some existing orders that have opened up, but that's okay. We'll just close this out, and it's a demo account. So that doesn't happen with a live account because your broker is attached to that, and the execution is obviously very, very different. So positions, orders, executions, that shows you all of your, notice when I click that, you can see all of my buys and sells. It will tell you the price. It'll give a little red arrow or buy arrow. It will tell you exactly what your positions are of your history on the chart. So that tends to make the chart a bit murky, so I don't use that. That's basically all you need. Okay, and then you can change the chart with the symbol. You can change the color. If you right click, you can go to color theme. You can make it nice, and there's a huge lag in this. I'm sorry. You can make it nice and light like that, or you can choose to make it dark. It's completely up to you. Okay, so very, very simple. And on the left-hand side here, there's a huge lag still. On the left-hand side, we have all of our tools. What is going on here? We have all of these tools. So we have lines we can put in. We have trend lines. We have horizontal lines. We have a paintbrush, so we can draw. We can mark things up where we see we're looking for a buy. And up in the top left-hand corner, we also have our time difference. So 5 minute, we can choose 15 minute, 1 minute, 1 hour, whatever time frame you want to trade in. And let's just remove some of these here. And also we have this button here is the indicator and strategy button. So if you click on that button, you can add different strategies. You can look for an RSI, and it will bring up a whole lot of different ones, because this is an open source platform, which means anyone can come and add indicators. So be careful what you select, but you probably don't need anything for now. At this stage, that's another whole rabbit hole to go down in the future. For those of us who are in the academy, we have our own indicator that is a part of our bootcamp, and we have that inside trading view. And as you can see, I can turn that on and off at will, and it'll give me a reading of what the price is going to do. Okay, let me just check the questions. Okay, so our trade is still collapsing. This is awesome. It's exactly what we want. Let's just, before I look at the questions, let's have a look and see where that support resistance is. Okay, let's just X that out. There's that line I drew before. It was right there. And how about that? Price has come down and tagged our support. Remember, I drew this line in before. Look at that. And we get a bounce. Let's go to a 1 minute chart and look at the bounce. There it is there. Okay, so this is the place where price is going to make a decision. Is it going to stop, or is it going to smash right through? We do not know yet. That's why we want to lock in profit. I would suggest now, if you're in position, sorry, if you are in profit, then might be a good time to move your stop, because the market has given us, from the entry, it's given us 30 pips, almost 30 pips. So I'm just going to move my stop down on my other platform. Okay, and what I'm basically doing is I'm putting myself into a risk-free trade. So now I can't lose. If the price comes back up, if it comes all the way back up and stops me out, I've still made money. But if we look at a higher time frame, let's go to the 60-minute chart. I'm going to go up here and go 60 or 1 hour. And we have a sell signal on the hourly chart now. See this red arrow? Sell signal on the hourly chart. And one of the things that we looked at last night was trend lines. And we saw that they were a form of dynamic support or resistance. Let's draw a trend line up through here and look at the power of these trend lines. So price respected this trend line from early this morning at 6 or 7 o'clock, respected again. It then broke through this trend line, and look what happened after it broke through it. It broke here, then it came back up and retested it right there. Can you see how support now becomes resistance and then price collapse? So the fact that we have a break of this trend line means that we might have a nice clean break in this uptrend, and we possibly could be trending down for a bit, or for a while at least, unless we get a bounce from this level here. This level is really the key support level for today. I would like to see it go a lot lower than this, because fear is a lot more powerful than greed in the market. And if the price goes down, fear normally is the dominating emotion in the market. And that's why the moves down are much bigger than the moves going up. And you might ask, how can you make money going down? Well, when you're investing, you only make money if the market goes up. But when you're trading, we can actually short the market or short sell the market. So if I believe the market's going down, I can actually sell at the top, even though I don't actually have that particular asset. I can actually sell what I don't have. And as the market goes down, I buy it back at a cheaper price, and I will pocket the difference between those two prices. And that's how traders make money. We can sell when the market goes down. We can buy when the market goes up. It does not matter what market conditions are going on. We can make money. But if you are an investor, you only make money when the market goes up. So you can have a great year, make 30%, but the next year you might go back to zero. But as traders, we tend to lock in profit every day. So Brian just locked in 4% today. And I think the bank pays you 4% a year. So that's pretty good going, Brian. Well done. So it looks like we've possibly broken this trend line, but let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to come back to the questions. Right. Yes, you can preset units. Exactly, Lisa, the same way I showed you. Right-click settings, trading. Right-click, yes, settings, instant orders, then okay, and then try and buy, and then you can set a default position. And this will be your default every time you do an instant trade. So you can set this up to be whatever you like, as a percentage of your account or as pips. Yes, you can do that. Other questions? Okay, so this yellow line is a trend line. If we come over to the left-hand side, the second bar down, there's a line. If you click the arrow beside it, you get a variety of lines. Vertical lines, horizontal lines, parallel lines, regression trends, all sorts of interesting tools. I simply chose the trend line. Basically click and drag, and you can move it around. And if you want to delete it, right click and garbage bin, or right click delete. If you've added the strategy you no longer want, how do you delete it? Great question, Nada. So up here, your strategies will be displayed in the left-hand side under the buy and sell icons. You simply X or remove the strategy from your screen. If you have an indicator underneath your price, as I have a MACD down here, you simply go down and X the indicator out, and then you have a blank screen again. Notice that up here, I've preset a number of different strategies and indicators. So I can basically click any of these buttons and an entirely different strategy will load. I can click that one, and all of these have different functions. But you don't. That comes with time. You only need one that works. But a lot of these I'm working with for different strategies and different reasons. Okay, so Josh, right click on it. Yep, excellent. Do you recommend any brokers for people in New Zealand? We don't normally recommend brokers, but myself, I use brokers in the United Kingdom because I've used them for a while, and they are much larger than New Zealand brokers, and they seem to be more trustworthy. So I use one called FX Pro, but make sure you do your due diligence, check them out, make sure the reviews are good, make sure that you are happy and confident with them, and don't open an account with them just because I say so. They have worked well so far for myself, but please make sure that you do your research. How do you get the histogram at the bottom showing if buying or sellers? Okay, how do you get the histogram at the bottom showing if buying or sellers markets? Okay, Adams, do you, sorry, I think your name is Adams. Maybe it's something different. Do you mean the Killshot histogram, or do you mean the histogram at the very bottom of my chart down here? Do you mean the green and blue histogram? Where is my chat gone? Okay, the one at the bottom. So that's called a MACD. And you go up to this button in the top left, the indicator button. Basically, just type in MACD and select the first one, and that will bring up the MACD. And that is an indicator which tells you, it's basically a formula that represents the relationship between price and the moving averages. And the histogram represents the sort of, yeah, it's partly the volume between the buyers and sellers and the relationship between price and the moving averages. A little bit tricky, but if the price is above the zero line, you want to be buying. If it's below the zero line, you want to be selling. Right now, the blue line and the red line have dropped below the zero horizontal line. And sure enough, we are in a seller's market. Price is going down. That's a very, very simple approach to utilizing the MACD. And okay, I'm just going through the other questions. Brandon, you took the buy for the last sell. Yeah, so Brandon, interestingly enough, on that last, I saw that buy too. I actually took it as well, Brandon, because the 15 hadn't crossed over yet. And I had a small stop out on that position. But once, let's have a look at it. So here was our buy position here. At that point, let's put in our vertical line. Let's put in the 15-minute chart. And you'll notice that we were basically trapped below the 238 and the 20 and 50 on the 50-minute chart. So in order for price to go up, we had to go through those three moving averages. And that's why price rejected all of them. Notice how it rejected the 20 and 50 moving average and the 238. It rejected all of them. And then we got our sell signal. So that's, I actually got in that buy as well because the crossover hadn't happened yet. I got stopped out and then I re-entered because we now had the final confirmation. And notice that we also had, I'm just going to remove this. We also had a break of market structure. Here's our trend line. Boom. What happens when we break that trend line? The buyers step away from the market and all the sellers step in. So for those of you who didn't join last night, each red candle is a selling candle. It represents that price opened at a certain level and the sellers pushed the price down and it closed lower than it opened. So for example, this candle here, it opened at the high and the sellers pushed it all the way down and it closed at the bottom. And that indicates that there are a lot of sellers in this market. But typically when we get a break of these trend lines in the context of a downtrend, notice that price is trending below the moving averages. Once we get a break of that, we will often get a continuation of that price down, and that gets us very, very quick trade with a very, very high reward relative to our risk. So that particular trade, my entry there, and it was about 2.5 to 1. So risk $1 to make 2.5, or risk 100 to make 250, 2.5 to 1. And that trade, for those of you who are still holding, has currently come down to 3.5 to 1. So pretty good reward to risk. And that has happened in the last 35 minutes. Okay, so that is the reason I did take that buy, Brandon. And the reason for that, again, for those of you who joined us last night, we talked about support and resistance. And what you can see here is that price found a temporary floor. Notice how price rejected this level over and over and over 4 times, and then it snapped higher. Okay, so there was a trade there. There was definitely a rejection from that level. But But again, on the higher time frame, price was rejecting the moving averages, which indicate the strength of the trend. And we had a rejection, a lower high, and then we had a break of the trend line. And then that is when we want to sell. Boom. Now let's have a look at what's happening at our key support level. We are getting that bounce. How about that? I told you that when we came to that level, we would at least get a pause and we would get a decision. And sure enough, price is still rejecting and bouncing off that horizontal support level. Why is that? Because that is a place where buyers are interested in picking up this market cheaply. So we're going to keep an eye on it. This might bounce higher. We don't know yet, but we will watch it. Okay. Good question, Brandon. And what? Do I open more than one position at a time? Yes, I do. Often what I will do, this is a personal preference. Often I'll enter 2 positions. I will exit 1 in a break-even position, which means I now have a risk-free trade. And that's exactly what I did in this trade. I entered 2 positions, 1, 2, right here. And my stop was up here. The moment price came down in a 1-to-1 position, I took out one of those. I now can't lose anything. If price comes all the way up, I'll have a break-even trade, which means I make $0, but I don't lose anything. If price goes down, then I make money on the second position as well. Okay, so it depends on the setup, but I often will enter 2 positions, especially if the market is moving quickly, because it allows me to get into a break-even position very, very quickly. Great question. The number 1 rule in trading is protect your capital. I think it was Warren Buffett who said, there's only 2 rules of making money or investing. The rule number 1 is never lose money. Rule number 2 is never break rule number 1. So don't lose money. Always protect your capital. Okay, Lisa. Yeah, awesome, Lisa. Okay, so there's some news in 7 minutes. France inflation rates. Now, this particular market we're trading is the US market. But what we can do is we can change and look at the euro, and we can see how the euro will be affected by this inflation data. Okay, so this news is coming out in 5 minutes. Every week there are economic releases from the governments around the world that tell the health of the economy. Sometimes it's inflation data, sometimes it's interest rates, sometimes it is employment numbers. This is the euro against the US dollar. This is a currency pair. And what we can see here is price has found a temporary floor, which means we possibly will break higher on the news. Now, simply by looking at this chart, you can see we have resistance here, here, and here. At the moment, price has found the floor. And so when the market, when the news comes out in 4 minutes, we'll probably see only one of a few things happen. One is that it shoots straight up. The second one is it will jump down and then shoot straight up. Third one is that it will drop down and just keep dropping. However, if the news is absolutely neutral, then it would just probably meander sideways for the rest of the day. So let's watch and see in 3 minutes. But we can definitely see that the buyers have the bias. The buyers have the bias because we have found a support in price. Okay, so we are also in the context of an uptrend. Notice how if we go out to a 15-minute chart, which is 5 degrees higher, we can see that we have broken above this level and we're now sitting back on it. And you can see that that same support level was respected in the past as well. Okay, and now we have what we call a head and shoulders pattern. And if we break through this, this is a very, very strongly bullish pattern. So let's see what happens in a few minutes. But we can trade currencies, we can trade crypto on this platform, we can trade anything. We are not affiliates of this website, so we do not have any referral links or anything like that. It is a free website that anyone can use. And if you do want the premium product, then you can pay a monthly subscription for that product, but that is optional. Absolutely, Murray. Yes, absolutely. I still look for technical analysis. There's a number of different layers that you can use when you're analyzing charts. And as you grow, like yourself, into advanced trading, then you can overlay more and more understanding of price. When we start off, it's very, very helpful to follow a simple method of looking for an entry and setting your risk. As you progress as a trader, then absolutely, when you look at a chart, there's a lot more things you can see. So for example, those who are following the strategy, if I put on the 1 minute chart here, are basically looking for our buy signal, which has already popped off on the euro. For those of us who are more advanced, like yourself, if we zoom out to maybe a 60-minute chart, then we can see more context. Okay. And it looks like the news is going to come out in 30 seconds. Let's see what happens to price. And while we're waiting, I'll answer the next question. Grisella, how do you trade the news? You must never react to the news because the news is 100% manipulation. The best way to trade the news is to trade the stop losses, which is why if price comes down below this yellow line, I will buy it even though the price is going down. Here's the news coming out now. Let's see what happens. Not a lot right now. Let's wait. The NAS is dropping pretty hard, which is good. Okay, looks like price is going up. So if we're demo trading, we can think, okay, price is going up. I want to buy this. I'm going to buy 100,000 lots. The currency is different. Buy. Price is zooming up. There's my buy. I want to drag my stop below the low. And I want to put my take profit at the high. So that's exactly what I would do. Modify. I now have my entry. I have my take profit. I'll put my stop below the low. I'll put my stop. For some reason, this platform tonight is being extremely weird. I've never had this before. There we go. So protect that. Let's see what happens. So this is not a real life trade. This is purely practice to show you how to initiate a buy and how we manage our risk. Stop loss below the low, take profit to the high, and let's see what happens. What are the letters in the circles on the top of your chart? So Selena, these ones here are other strategies I have added. Now what you can do is, let's say I go up into this box here for indicators and I want a moving average on my chart. I can go moving exponential average. I can then select the top one, exponential moving average, and it will come up here on the left-hand corner. I can then choose what sort of average I want. Let's say I choose a 200. No, let's say I choose a 500. Okay, and I now have a 500 moving average, all these nice lines. If I want to save this template, I can come up to these 4 boxes here, click on that, and I can go save indicator template. I can give it a name, and now instead of having to put those averages in every time, I can simply come back and click the button in the top there. Okay, so I don't want them anymore. So that is what it looks like if we would open a trade on the euro. Obviously, the inflation data wasn't very big. Price is not doing a lot. Let's go back to the NAS because I see on my other chart it is running, and then we're going to look at something special. Okay, so it has now broken our key level. So we had a pause right here, and now price has broken through that level. At this point, I am actually moving my stop down. I'll show you. So this is my position from the highs. Short. My stop loss is now protected here, just above this swing high. Okay, so I have moved my stop loss down. And it is now protected above this high. So if price comes up, I still make money. So that's my live, that's my live account there. All right, so a bit of support and resistance there. That's how we analyze the charts, basically, and that's how we buy and sell. Again, if the market is dropping right now, and I think it's going to keep dropping, I can just go sell. And there's, well, normally it's instantaneous. There's my sell. And very, very temperamental tonight. There's my stop. And there's my take profit. Bang, bang. All set. And now my capital's safe. I can go to bed. I can do whatever I like. And I know that I'm going to risk 1 to make 3 or whatever. And then I can put my reward to risk ratio on and say, okay, well, my stop loss is here. My take profit is moved because for some strange reason. What is going on with this? This is extremely weird. Modify. So like you can see my reward to risk ratio is about 2.7 to 1. So if I'm happy with that, I can go to bed and I know that I will only be risking this much. I have a predetermined risk and a predetermined reward if I'm correct. If I'm wrong, I know exactly how much I'm going to lose. So that's how we buy and sell. And if you want to connect your broker to TradingView, if you come down and click on that button again and go into paper trading, you can see the brokers list. So if you click on that, it will bring up all of the brokers that are connected to TradingView. You can click on one of these brokers and you can open a live account and you can trade off the charts. Okay, so that's where you see the brokers. Okay, so our trade is moving extremely well. We're currently up about 4 to 1, almost 5 to 1 on this trade. Here's my entry up here in the white line. I don't have reward to risk on this particular platform. That was my risk. And we are currently making, let's just change the color of this. Currently making 1. This is just very, very rough. 2, 3, 4. We're making about 5 to 1 on that remaining position, which is pretty good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a risk management system. And before I do, I'll answer Toby's question. Is there a minimum amount to trade or start trading with? No, you can choose whatever you like, Toby. And that's what we're going to look at now. So there's a lot of misconceptions about trading, how much you need. And we talked last night about the misconception where you need to risk a lot to make a lot. That's not true. A broker will let you start with as little as $20, depending on the broker, $20, $50, somewhere around that region. Now, there's a few different ways you can build your account. The power of trading comes from compounding your account, which means you make a percentage on your trade, and then the next time you're making a percentage on top of that percentage, and the power of compound interest starts to kick in. And this is one of the tools that we use, which is an incredible bonus you get when you are connected with our academy. And we teach you how to use this in depth. But if you start with $100 in your account, and this is a basic spreadsheet to describe how you manage your risk and how you can grow an account very quickly. Actually, let's start with the other one. Let's say you have $500. Now, we are going to risk 15 pips to make 30 pips, or we are risking 1 to make 2, which is a good reward to risk ratio. Let's say that we are going to start trading 50 cents a pip. So 50 cents, and we make 30 pips. Our reward, whoops, that should be the other way around. It should be here. Our reward will be $15. But if we are wrong and we stopped out, it'll be 50 cents times 15 pips, and we will lose $7.50. So this is what one of the educators in our academy called the gate system. You begin at gate 1. And this is an incredible way to actually gamify trading, but also incentivize you to manage your capital correctly. So you start at gate 1. If I get 30 pips, let's say I take 3 trades and I get 10 pips on the first one, 12 pips on the second one, and 15 pips on the third one, I have now broken that 30 pip threshold. I now proceed to gate 2 with an extra $15 in my account. So now I have $515. Now, instead of trading 50 cents a pip, I'm making $1 a pip. Still going for 2 to 1, risking 15 to make 30, but now I'm making double. Now, one good way to do it is actually make slightly more than you risk. So let's say we go for 32 pips. So you made 16 pips on the first trade, but if you lose on the second trade, you still have an extra $1 in your account. So you're preserving your capital. Let's say that we make another 32 pips, we progress, get 3, and so on. Now, starting with $500, as you can see, every time we go up a level, we are increasing our sizing of our trade. When we get to gate 20, you can see we are making $19 a pip, or $608 for 32 pips. So as you can see, after, let's say you win 20 straight trades in a row, and you get to gate 20, you go from $500 to almost $6,000. This is if you get it in a row, okay? Now, the beautiful thing about this is, let's say you come all the way to gate 10, and you are up almost $1,700. And let's say you take a loss. So our loss is $135 at this level because it's 9 times 15. So you take a loss. So now we have, let's just put this in, we have 16.8 minus 135. Now let's say you start tilting and you're like, oh man, I need to make that back. And you lose again. So when you lose, or you lose 15 pips, you have to go back a gate, which means you are decreasing the size you are risking on your trading account. You are using less. So we were making $9 a pip. We go back a gate. We're now making $8, $7, $6, $5. So let's say you kept losing all your money in a row, because of the way this is structured, you still preserve most of your capital. So let's say we're at gate 10, we've made 1,700. Let's say we now lose 5 trades in a row. So that'd be 135, 120, 105, 1975. So 135 minus 120 minus 105 minus 90 minus 75. And let's say we're just out of control by now. We're like, man, I'm tilting completely. Let's say we come all the way back to gate 4. We lose 6 trades in a row. Notice we still have $1,000. So we've only actually gone back 2 gates in technical terms of account value. So even though you've gone back to gate 4 as far as sizing is concerned, you've still preserved your capital. Okay, this is incredibly powerful. Now, this is a conservative way of trading. I'm only increasing my lot size by 1 every gate. But look what happens by the time you get 100 trades. You're now trading $1,000 a pip. So that's one way of trading it. A more aggressive way is this way. You can start with $100, and every time you win, you double your position sizing. So you start with 50 cents, then you go to $1, then $2, $4, well, not quite double, but almost 6, 8, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is aggressive, but a bit more conservative. But by gate 10, you've gone from $100 to $3,000. By gate 20, you've gone to $30,000. Now notice that we are risking a lot initially. If you look on the left-hand side, we are risking sometimes 27% of our account to make 50%. But this is an initial way to build up your account quickly, because once you move up in the gates, you're now trading with house money. And that's what the system does. Even if you lose money, you should never lose your initial $100. So remember, everything you make on top of the $100 is house money. You are not losing your initial investment. So as you can see, as we progress through the gates, as we increase our sizing, notice that our risk is getting less and less. It's very, very high at the beginning. After those 20 trades, it drops right off, and you can actually choose how much you want to trade. You might not want to make $3,000 a trade. That's up to you. You know, you might want to make $300 a trade, so just trade $10 a pip. That's fine. But you can adjust this to however you like. Maybe it's $15 a pip. Maybe here you want to start making $200 a pip to make $6,000 a trade. But if you do it this way, then you can see your account size over 100 trades grows extremely quickly. This is dollars. So this is an incredible way to grow wealth from a small amount of money, but preserve your initial investment, whether that's 500, 100, or 1,000. So this is something that we teach in depth. It's what I use every day. It incentivizes me to, well, most of the time it incentivizes me to keep my rules, because I want to move to the next level. I want to be trading higher and higher size, because you're incentivized by gate 53 to make $12,000 a trade. And then by the time you get to gate 68, you can make $30,000 a trade. This seems like big numbers, but this is how traders make their money, by compounding their account. Okay, so London is opening in 1 minute. Thank you very much. I just saw that. Okay, let's come back to the trades. The London market is opening in 4 seconds. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's going to drop. It's going to drop. So this is when the United Kingdom stock market is opening. We normally see a lot of volatility around that time, and we should start to see a little bit of action. Right now, we have just a solid downtrend. Okay, let's come out to the 50-minute chart. Okay, we've clearly broken that level, as you can see. Where is our next level? Well, if you look to the left, as we discovered last night, there's 2 levels we want to look at. This is the first one. Support. Price has respected this area in the past. Therefore, there is a high degree of probability it could respect it in the future. Let's watch that line there. That is the 12,000 number. That's the big psychological figure. The other incredibly important level for today is actually at the bottom. Now, price could stop anywhere between here and there, but these are the most significant levels. Maybe this one too, to a lesser extent, because that's where price also found a temporary floor. Okay, but these are the levels we want to watch. It looks like, well, it's very, very clear actually. We have a very, very strong downtrend. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. You can see that our histogram is all red, which means the sellers have complete control right now. So when the market is falling like this, you do not want to be a buyer. And this is the power of following a trend, following strategy. You trade with the momentum of the buyers or sellers. Okay, remember, the price that we are seeing on this chart is a reflection of the psychology of the buyers and sellers. If the price is collapsing, I guarantee the buyers are not in control right now. Until we see a turnaround, the sellers are in control. There's no way we want to buy this market. We only want to be sellers here. Okay, so let's just watch that. I'm just going to come back to some questions. And look, we almost bounced off that level, that first line right away. Exactly, Carolyn, you want to have a high success rate. So absolutely. So if you have, 70, 80% win rate, that is definitely a strategy. Or if you are an incredibly patient trader, then you can use a strategy like that, because you know that you will only take the best trades. Okay, not every trade is created equal. And if you are like a sniper and you wait for that perfect trade and you pick it off, then you can get 10 trades in a row. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of discipline, but it can be done. Or you can go forward 4 gates, go back 2, go forward 3, go back 1, and you can just slowly work up. Now, what if you just get 2 trades a week? If you just take the 2 best trades a week, after 5 weeks, you're at gate 10 from $1,000. After 10 weeks, you're at $35,000. Yeah, excellent, Ty. 12,000 level. You saw that. 12,000, big round number. The 0 levels are a big psychological figure. Mario, today is Tuesday. Often we get a reversal on Tuesday. However, if we look at the daily chart, so we can look, this is the stock market on a daily perspective. Let's just remove some of these lines. Let's put our indicator on. So we are coming back into the averages. However, we are below the higher time frame moving average. The 4-hour chart is strongly down. Now, notice we are bouncing off our higher time frame moving average right now, and that has been respected also before. So we have a 000 level and a higher time frame moving average. So absolutely, this could be a place for a bounce. Right now, the 4-hour chart is straight down. And so if we do want to take a long position, we have to have very, very good reward for risk. And we have to have an excellent entry, because right now the momentum is down. That is not to say that the market can turn around from here, absolutely. But we do want to confirm that this downtrend has turned around before we buy. Otherwise, we're trying to catch a falling knife. But that's a good point. Today is Reversal Tuesday, or Turnaround Tuesday as it is known, because the market often will reverse on a Tuesday. And that's why we lock in our profit, and we try to, we don't try, we manage our risk as best as we can. Okay, so the London market is opened. We've clearly hit a few of our levels. Here's our trade on the euro. So here we go, price broke up above that trend line, and sure enough, let's just remove the indicator. Look how it broke through and then retested that trend line and then exploded to the upside. What is that trend line? We can see that we look for the previous swing highs in price. Here's the high, here's the high. We connect the dots, we extrapolate that line out to the future, and here's the big break. This is where price broke through on this candle, and then price came back, retested, and we are up again. So do we still have a trade on here, or did I reset my account? I think I reset the account there. Trading panel. Where is it? Maybe trading. Okay, so as you can see, we are up $35 on that euro trade. Just a small position. That was simply for illustration purposes. We can close that, and we can close the NAS position for a profit as well. Okay, so that risk management strategy is the best that I've ever used, because it allows you to build up wealth from a small amount of capital, and it teaches you to manage that correctly by gamifying it, which is ingenious. A few more questions here. When do we decide that the market has definitely gone bullish? So the strategy that we are following, Lisa, there's obviously a number of conditions that we need to verify that the market has turned around. A lot of them are based on the moving averages that will tell us that a reversal has taken place. We'll often find a double or triple bottom in the market, which will indicate that the market has turned around. And if we look on the euro trade here, let's go to a 5-minute chart, you can see that we have a double bottom here. Price has found a double bottom and then reversed higher. That's one indication that the market has turned around, at least in the near term. A long and short position is bought in the same way. Exactly, Mel. So if I believe the euro is going to come down right now, I just go sell, and there's my short position right there. If the market comes down, I simply close it out by exiting my position. Exactly the same. So for some people, the concept of selling what you don't have is a hard one to wrap your mind around, but you execute the trade exactly the same way as a buy. There's no difference. See, there we go. Prices come down and we made $8, and I closed that out. $12. It's just waiting for the transaction to go through. But today it's extremely slow, and there it is. Closed out. If I go to my account history, there's my $12. Okay, so it works exactly the same way. Very, very simple. Sell and buy and manage your positions. Okay, it is 9 o'clock. We've been going for 1 hour. Let's briefly go back to the NAS and see what's happening. And are there any more questions? We've looked at, again, support and resistance as an addendum to last night. And we've also looked at how to place a trade on TradingView. Very, very simple. And there's our level there. So we are now bouncing off that level. Let me just connect my other accounts. Okay. We could bounce here, but right now everything is down, everything is red, which means the sellers are in control. I will not be buying here until we see some sort of bottoming process and then a turnaround. That's the only time I would consider buying here. The reason for that is that we also have a lot of lower highs. We have a high, we have a lower high, we have another lower high, and another lower high. This means that the buyers have tried to put price up and failed. They've tried again, failed, tried again, failed, tried again. Every time they've tried to push price up, they can't even get back to the previous high. This means there are not a lot of buyers in the market right now, and that's why price rolled over. So when we learn not only a strategy such as we're employing in our academy, but when we use, when we learn to read price itself and understand value, we can actually see who's in charge of the market, the buyers or the sellers. It's amazing. It's incredibly powerful. Okay, are there any final questions? Let me just open the chat box up, and Ty, you can let me know if I'm missing anything. That spreadsheet, so that spreadsheet is available to those who are part of our community. Eva, are you paying a broker out of your profit? So, G. Bartlett's, every broker is different. Some will take a commission on what you're trading. Some of them will simply take the spread. The spread is the difference between the buy and the sell price. Notice the buy will always be slightly higher. Currently now it's 1180, over here it's 1380, so 2 points higher. So they will take that spread as their commission. Depending on what you're trading, some brokers will take a fixed dollar cost, like $5 a share or something like that if you're trading shares. Okay, so Toby, how do you become part of the community? Best way is to reach out to the person who invited you here tonight. They will give you the details on how you can do that. So do we have any final questions? I don't want to keep you all night tonight. Again, this recording will be available in the chat room for those who are connected, and also last night's one as well, where we also took a last minute trade last night. We are not planning on running another bootcamp for a while. So that will probably be, it could be months, we're not sure. But Ty, you can give us a quick tour of our academy. That would be great. And show us what it looks like. And I'll hand the screen over to you.
Man, Mike, thank you so much once again. Incredible. Thank you so much for taking the time and running us through all of that. Outstanding, man. There's so much in there that everyone can dive in and apply straight away, practicing in TradingView, the gates, etc. Yeah, guys, drop some value in the chat for Mike. I know he just brought a heap. For some of you, if you're brand new, you just don't know how good he is until you've heard a few people in this space, but Mike really is outstanding. So, man, thanks so much for your time. Guys, I know we are getting late, and someone asked, a little bit about what we're doing here. So naturally, it always ends with get back to whoever brought you here. They can help you get plugged in. We're all about relationship and showing you how this works. You're not just signing up to some random thing online. We're about making sure everyone can get plugged in, figure out the process of learning this so that you can actually pursue the dream properly of financial freedom through trading. So I'm going to screen share super quick and just show you what it looks like. Like Mike said, we've been running a 30-day bootcamp for our existing students, which is something that we do not have to do. We're not paid to do that. We just want to make sure that those that are doing this really can thrive. So I'm going to screen share this super quick. So guys, if you've never heard of this, basically Mike and I and our community of, I think we're getting close to about 200 in our team chat altogether, mostly here in New Zealand, but all over the world. We're part of IM Academy. When you sign up, you basically get access to 3 things: pre-recorded foundations, live mentorship with live education every day with an expert, and apps and scanners like Killshot that you've seen, which is intellectual property that professionals have put together. So when you start out, this is the IM Center. This is pillar number 1. You come in here, click Academies, and that's going to load over here. Depending on what you sign up for, there's a lot of different options, but basically for most of us, we're looking at time-based trading tonight. That's where Jay Bonham teaches his Killshot strategy. So when you click in here, I just loaded another page so it loads quickly. You're going to get access to 101 videos. Like, this is a 4-minute video on introduction to TradingView. We just took TradingView a little bit further tonight. Then you've got pips, units, buying, selling, price waves, everything, candlesticks, risk management, trend indicators, all the way down to harmonic patterns. There's a good chunk of content in there. They're not very long videos. They're actually quite bite-sized, because the goal with the TBX Academy is to get you guys plugged into an educator as fast as possible. So the second pillar is goLIVE. This is where you can come and find live education. So for us right now, we're focusing on TBX. Got a whole lot of guys in DCX, which is crypto education, where I started. I put about 300 hours in there in 2021. But right now, TBX goLIVE, Jay Bonham, guys, this is who we follow. He developed Killshot. He showed up here as a student 3 years ago, got so good that he became an educator. So, he helped mentor over 1,000 people through this journey, kind of like what Mike and I are doing, helping guys get profitable. And he developed his own strategy and scanner. And so you can click, he's live. You can see it's 2 in the morning, New Zealand time, but he's going to be adding some sessions for our time zone as soon as we finish our boot camp. So when you click on Jay, you're going to come in here and see, when he's live, he'd be right here. There's a chat box. You can ask questions. His most recent sessions are here because he's been running a boot camp. So you can see there, boot camp session 1, 2, 3, going into all the details of his strategy in a high amount of detail. So after goLIVE, the pillar number 3 is the apps and scanners. What it'll look like is something like this. So right now we've got access to Killshot and TradingView because the Academy is busy building his scanner for us. This is an example of one. This is an Impulse that Brandon Boyd and Dr. Josh Lee put together, without just basically a bunch of buys and sells and signals that are popping off with different strength indicators that you can take once you learn that strategy. But for us, like I said, we're running with Killshot. So he's got a full PDF for us, which shows us everything about how his strategy works, plus all the videos. And like I said, we've been running our bootcamp, teaching everything of Jay's. We're really close with him. We chat with him in messenger chats every day. And so we've done everything, guys. Session 1, like all the way through. Like I said, tonight's actually session 12. And so these are unlisted on my YouTube channel for our squad, and we're going to be running all the way through for a few more weeks. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. And if you want to see anything else, guys, basically tomorrow there's a TBX free trial, which honestly is not going to differ too much to what Mike and I have been showing you, except you're going to see the educators from the Academy, which is really powerful. So look at that. Jay is there tomorrow live. I believe this is 9 a.m. New Zealand time tomorrow. But yeah, Jay is a part of the TBX trial, which is really powerful. Going to be showing you what is trading, how to learn it, what it looks like to do it in this space. And so yeah, you're welcome to register for that. I will take that link, drop it in the chat right now over there. So if you want to go and register for that, you're welcome to. But yeah, guys, that's basically what our Academy looks like. You're able to access, like I said, inside of Academies, you've got pre-recorded foundations, you've got goLIVE, which is live mentorship, and then you've got the strategies and the scanners, like we have access to Killshot, which is basically what we're trading with. Once you learn how a strategy works, next stage is applying it and basically following a plan. So guys, it's getting late. Just want to leave it there, give you a really quick overview. If you've got any more questions, I'll hang around for a bit on the chat, but otherwise, whoever invited you here is already a part of our squad and is plugged in and learning and actively trading with us. So they can answer all your questions. They can help you get started, figure out what package or price suits you, whatever your goals are. This is about you and whatever suits your journey. We just wanted to offer some free value here over a couple of nights to get you open to this idea, to cross you from, like I said, the left side to the right side of money. Because, I've done a whole lot of different things in my life between working as a Sparky, working on the weekends, doing that, driving Uber Eats for a season. Eventually you come to realize that you can only trade so much time for money. And when you stop doing that, you stop earning it. Unless you have a whole lot of rental properties or assets or something, trading is an easy way for us to get into a space where we can actually get our money working for us. It is a skill set that takes time to learn. But, Mike used to charge $5,000 US to teach people for 2 or 3 months. in our environment here, he's doing this just for our students. Like he's plugged in here. He's decided to drop a flag in here real tight in the ground like me because of the culture and the leadership of our academy, the lives that they're impacting. We've had over 1 million students go through and graduate from all of this. And we've got close to 500,000 active at any one point in time. Been around for almost 10 years. Phenomenal environment. Anyway, don't want to ramble anymore about that. I want to say a huge thank you for coming along, plugging in with us here. It's been an absolute privilege to be able to host you. Like Mike said, we haven't got any plans yet to do anything more in the future, but eventually we will. We love doing little 2-night sessions like this once every month or two. But right now we're in the middle of a 30-day one, so we're looking forward to a little bit of break at the end of it. In the meantime, you know, stay tuned to whatever else we drop on the Facebook page. If you want some recordings, you can head out my YouTube channel. But otherwise, once again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm going to end the stream there so I can play a song. Otherwise, it'll stop me. But yeah, guys, thanks so much. Once again, thank you so much to Mike for all of your time and the value you've added to us, and everybody else that's already part of our team. We'll see you same place, same time tomorrow night and Thursday night for some live trading and time with Mike educating. All right, everyone, thank you so much for your time. We'll catch you up next time. Thank you and good night.